Economic integration requires economic geographic analysis. This is the study of principles that govern the efficient spatial allocation of economic resources and the resulting consequences. It is concerned with describing and explaining the varied places and spaces in which economic activities are carried out and circulate. Yes, this is related to spatial transformation. What are the steps to regional integration? Step 1. Regional integration should have clear goals and initially address a small, narrow, well-defined area of cooperation. For example, the European Union started as a European coal and steel community. It started after World War II. The ASEAN also started with only a few members with very uncomplicated objectives. But now it has more members and have more loftier ideals. Step 2. Integration must also help countries gain access to world markets, especially those who cannot access it. Small and landlocked countries, for example, need regional integration in order to achieve economies of scale. For example, the region can have shared transportation hubs or ports to give access to member countries with unreachable markets. Step 3. Some countries will have more market efficiency than other countries, so some regions will gain more than others. However, explicit compensation programs may be required to ensure that the development of other countries are also taken into consideration. For example, the 8-member West African Economic and Monetary Union adopted a revenue-sharing tariff program. The economically advanced countries of Ivory Coast and Senegal collected tariffs for the member nations and then shared the earnings with other members, those members that are having difficulty in developing their economies. The following exhibits will represent the economic geography of integration. This shows regions close to world markets, which are the most advantageous. So market access is essential for economic growth, and proximity to major world markets is an asset for just-in-time production and when exporting perishable goods. So regional trading blocs that are close to world markets, such as the North American Free Trade Agreement or the NAFTA, the Dominican Republic Central America Free Trade Agreement, as you can see here in the map, they are very close to the United States, to China, to India. These exhibits are large markets that are far from the world market. So these are markets that are far from the United States, China, India, and Europe. This second group of countries is far from world markets, such as the United States, the European Union, large economies like India and Japan. A large local market gives countries the advantage of attracting industrial activities. If the country's infrastructure is also well connected to world markets, these advantages can be enforced. So you see the countries in yellow, they are far from world markets, but they have potential. In other words, they can attract investment from these world markets, from the United States, from the European Union, to go to their country. As long as, of course, they have stable and competent infrastructure. This exhibit shows small market regions far from world market. So they are small markets and they are disadvantaged geographically. Okay? So there is difficulty in reaching them or in trading with them because of their location. International integration is most difficult for these countries in regions that are divided, far from world markets, and lacking the economic size of a large local market. So these regions are also called the bottom billion. These are regions in Central Asia, in East, Central, and West Africa, and the Pacific Islands. Okay, so they are all in yellow in the map. Central Asia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan has the highest proportion of landlocked countries. So when we say landlocked, they do not have access to the sea. In sub-Saharan Africa, there are several landlocked countries also, many with a small population and GDP. So these are some of the poorest nations. The small Pacific Islands are the most geographically fragmented. Now, this time they are sea-locked, surrounded by the ocean. So all of these regions could really gain a lot from effective regional cooperation. You have reached the end of our lesson, class, the end of part 1. Please stand by for the continuation of this module about regional integration. In part 2, examples of regional integration will be discussed. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.